Hey there, fellow weirdos. Come take a dimensional step with us as we assess the aura of this new class. We're going to expand your zone of influence and bolster our allies with another example of metacreativity in this preview of the Psion class by WebDM.
Worlds of WebDM Weird Wastelands is WebDM's first book, and it's live on Kickstarter now. It's an environment-based toolkit for DMs and players to give you everything you need to create player-driven 5e games in the fantasy post-apocalypse. We're introducing new support for wilderness exploration, giving you a complete class, the Psion, 12 new subclasses, tons of locations with maps, monsters, NPCs, adventure hooks, and hey, it's WebDM, so you know they're going to include some badass encounter tables and more. They're writing it exactly how they think a 5e book should be. Well-organized, full of references, and their WebDM wisdom, with tips and support for how to make the content easily fit any 5e game and run the best games of your life. Back it on Kickstarter now. Link here and in the comments and description.
It's nice to be here and be able to be a part of this video, and we get to review the preview of the Psion that was just released today, which is awesome. So Josh, I know this is like a it's like a sacred cow specifically for Pruitt. He loves the Psions and the Psionics, so this is kind of fun that they're doing this. And we have it here, this document. So what did you think?
I like it. I like that there are a ton of different options here, and the thing that is interesting is in 5th edition, for whatever reason, Wizards of the Coast just has not been able to figure out the Psion. Like it's almost like they don't know what to do with it, but it's so important to the lore. Like it's been around for so long, and it's a fan favorite. But they keep throwing out like random different UAs here and there, and then we ended up getting something in Tasha's that was in more of the lines of like subclasses for a couple classes. But
Right.
I like this a lot better with
And
dedicated
some feats
class.
dabble, like telepathic, telekinetic. Okay. But what if someone's like really like like their mind is their weapon? It's like it's not the same.
Yeah, as the WebDM wisdom says, what inspires you when you think about Psions? Is it Jean Grey or a Jedi? I swapped that. Commander Shepard or Carrie? It's many paths. Which will you choose? And I think that's a great example that they threw in there, because there really are so many different paths you could take with the way that they set it up.
I agree.
So I like it a lot. I mean, right off the bat, creating a Psion, they have a quick build here. So they say first, make intelligence your highest ability score, followed by constitution. Choose the nomad background, which have we seen the nomad background yet? I don't think. Is that a 5e background?
My mind is. I have a mind blank on this. I don't know if maybe you're doing something through the interwebs psionically, but nothing is coming to mind.
I mean, I could definitely be wrong, but I don't think the nomad background is a thing, which means there's probably some backgrounds in the book that we haven't seen yet, and that's pretty exciting.
I love that, because more backgrounds, more better. I mean, now you can customize them, but you need to figure out a way to sleep in the wilderness for free, Josh. I'm sure WebDM will find that for us.
Just hopefully it doesn't get nerfed like the athlete background.
You know, like half of the people will.
Yeah, sometimes you have a chance to get free lodging.
Oh, I love that. We got intelligence con. That's like the artificer there on the saving throws. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but
no, you're right. Then it says start with a rank in the Telekinesis discipline. So you get the following features: D8 hit die, which is Ranger's D8 as well, right? Or are they D10?
They're D10. This is like this feels probably along the lines of like Bard Warlock, kind of middle of the pack as far as that goes. There's probably a little more than just the spells.
Agreed.
Things.
Yeah, so hit dice, that's all normal. You get a light armor proficiency with simple weapons, saving throws, as Mr. Jacoby said before, constitution and intelligence. Very nice. As some sort of caster, it's always nice to have constitution.
Yes, and it seems to make sense too. Like if it's your mind and it's kind of like a physical exertion of your mind, that feels right to me.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
And then you get to choose 2 skills from Arcana, History, insight, medicine, nature, perception, and religion. Equipment, light crossbow, 20 bolts, any simple weapon, Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack, leather armor, any simple weapon, and 2 daggers. I like that.
Yeah. I like
It's
that.
nice that you get a good mix of things there. And then we have what everybody came here to see: psionic power. At first level, your innate psionic potential grants you the ability to manifest psionic effects through the prodigious power of your mind. Psionic effects are strange supernatural manifestations that take various forms as detailed in the following below. So you pick a discipline from the list of psionic disciplines, and they
Okay.
said that you should go with
Telekinetic, right?
telekinetic one, yeah, telekinesis. So I'll just read all of psionic discipline because that kind of sets the stage for everything else that we're going to talk about. So at first level, you may select one psionic discipline from the list of psionic disciplines section and gain a single advancement in that discipline. As you level up as a scion, you gain the ability to put ranks into new disciplines or continue to improve your skills in a discipline you already know by increasing its rank, as detailed in the discipline advancement column of your class progression table.
Okay.
Right off the bat, I like that. That's like, it almost feels video gamey, where it's like, you know, you have your skill trees and you just kind of like, oh, I'll start a new one.
Yeah, like
Um,
particularly like Oblivion and Skyrim, I feel like they had a lot of advancement that way, and that's kind of fun because you
yeah,
know I know no two scions are going to be the same for many reasons, but even like no two telekinetic scions might be the same for reasons like this. At least I'm guessing. We'll find out.
I feel the same. I mean, obviously, we only have the first 5 levels, but I agree though, and I think that, you know, 4E got a lot of crap for trying to be a video game, but I think that we could use more of this, of what I've seen here. And obviously, not like 4E, not bad. It's good. It's choices. Each ability granted by a discipline can be enhanced by expending power points. While using one of these abilities, you can never expend more power points in a single instance than you have ranks in the associated discipline. For
Okay.
example, at first level, you may put a single rank into the telekinesis discipline. But when you reach 3rd level, you may choose to either increase the telekinesis discipline's rank by 1 or put a rank into a different discipline. You may focus on only one power at a time, as if concentrating on a spell. The
Makes
specific
sense.
durations for each power are detailed in its associated discipline.
All right, so just gonna take a quick look at the table here to just see that kind of in table format. So at
Mhm.
level 1, you get 1 rank, which is this discipline advancement column, and at level 3, this feels a lot like spell levels here.
Yes,
Every other
it
level,
does. And the
you get
PowerPoints
another.
kind of
Hmm.
feel a lot like sorcery points.
They do, and the economy looks bigger. Normally, the points for 5e has gone kind of whatever level you are is how many points you have. So I'm curious this, but
Mhm.
one thing I think the first time I read through this, I did not catch, but what did it say? You can never expend more power points in a single instance than you have ranks in that discipline. So if you only have 2 ranks in
Yep.
telekinesis, well,
And if
that's
you
the
have 12
maximum.
points,
Yeah, the maximum
yep.
you can pump in there in one time is 2. So
Yeah.
I think that's how they're keeping a little bit of a power cap as far as avoiding some overpoweredness. This is getting exciting for me. I might want to play a Scion. Think sometime soon. Be weird like
uh,
carry. For some reason, that's just where I want to go with it.
Carry is where you want to go with it.
I don't know why, but that's just what popped in my head.
Yeah, and it shows you how many power points you have. You start off with 2 at first level, maximum of 30 at 20th level, which was kind of nice.
And then zone of influence, that's interesting. So the farther something is away from you, the more difficult it is to manipulate with your psionic power. Any psionic effect you produce has a range called your zone of influence. Okay, which is determined by your level, as detailed in the zone of influence column of your class progression table. When you manifest a psionic effect, you cannot target or affect anything outside this area. If a target with an ongoing psionic effect leaves this area, the effect immediately ends. I think that's pretty cool, and it's almost like your enhanced movement table as a monk, which is kind of
It
cool.
is.
But
Yeah.
just for spells or abilities in this instance.
And I like that too, that it's like everything has a set range based on your power level and not based really on what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like it a lot. It almost looks like it seems to, when proficiency goes up, you get an extra 10 feet if I see the pattern, which I think it does. Yeah.
It seems to be that way.
That's pretty cool.
The ability works kind of like spells essentially. So your psionic save DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier. Your psionic attack modifier is proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier.
Yep, just like your spells.
Yeah, exactly. So psionic recovery, you have learned to regain some of your psionic energy through meditation once per day. When you finish a short rest, you can recover a number of spent power points equal to your total number of discipline advancements. Okay. What other caster gets to do that? Is that
The wizard has that as a base feature, and then I think the Circle of the Land druid gets something similar, but it's like half your spell levels, but their economy is going to be a little different here. So this is kind of cool. So it's just a little extra. You know, you're not that warlock that gets, you're not just a short rest fiend. You still need to rest for the day to
Yeah.
get your stuff. But yeah, I like that because a short rest. I really wish that there were some stronger rest mechanics for short rests, because I feel like a short rest should give something, maybe like a short rest, a long rest, and a full rest. I don't know. Something feels a little missing there for me. I don't know.
interesting?
That might be another video.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's unpack that another time, because I would like to dig into that, but I don't know that we have time.
Yeah. So then we got, what's this called? Mental modality.
Yeah, level 2.
So when you reach second level, your powers have solidified into a particular mental routine known as a modality. Choose one of the following: the structured mind, the emotional conduit, or the strategist. Detailed at the end of the class description. Your modality grants you features at second level and again at 6th, 14th, and 18th level. This feels a lot like your subclass.
Yeah, exactly.
To me. Okay.
Yeah, but you get it at second instead of third.
It's right. Only like it's rare. It's a bit of rare magic there.
Here we have the list of disciplines, which is this is what we were talking about before. Now we actually get to see what all of those mean. So telekinesis, which is the one that they recommend to start off with. This discipline allows you to manifest your will as a physical force. You're able to move creatures and objects with a strength far beyond the limitations of your physical form. So you get manipulate, which is your first thing here. You gain the ability to move or manipulate objects by exerting your psionic power. As an action, you could exert your will on one object you can see within your zone of influence, which is 50 feet when you start off.
Yep.
You can choose to expend your action round after round to affect the same target or choose a new target. If you switch targets, the prior target is no longer affected by your psionic influence. So you could move an object, or you could try to move an object that weighs up to 30 pounds in this manner. As part of the action used to control the object, you can choose to spend power points to increase the amount of weight you could manipulate, as shown on the manipulate weight table. If the object isn't being worn or carried, you automatically move it up to 30 feet in any direction, but not beyond your zone of influence. You can exert fine control on objects with your telekinetic grip, such as manipulating a simple tool, opening a door or a container, stowing or retrieving an item from an open container, or pouring the contents from a vial. It's almost like
this is very Jedi.
It is very Jedi, but it's funny. It almost reminds me of Mage Hand, except without the Mage Hand.
And
but
just like a beefed up
hand.
Mind hand, yeah.
And at higher ranks, when you spend at least 3 points to use manipulate in this way, you have an option to attempt to move a huge or smaller creature. The target must succeed on a saving throw versus your psionic save DC or be affected by this ability. You're still bound by the weight limits outlined on the manipulate weight table. So essentially, 30 pounds, 0 points spent. 1 pound or 1 point is 100 pounds, 2 points 1,000, 3 points 2,000, 4 points 5,000, and 5 points is 10,000 pounds.
Yep. So it looks like For the most part, medium creatures, you're going to need at least 2 pounds. For the most part. It seems like if you want to just, I'm going to pick you up and chuck you into a wall. Good luck.
Yeah, 2 points, definitely.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is very cool. And Psychic Crush.
this one's fun.
As an action, you unleash your psionic power to crush something with your telekinesis, make a psionic attack against a creature or object of your choice that you can see within your zone of influence. On a successful hit, the target takes 1d10 bludgeoning damage. When you hit with this attack, you can spend power points to increase this damage by 1 to 10 per point, which again is capped off by the number of ranks you have in the telekinesis discipline.
Yeah. Which
So-
first time we looked at this,
I know, I was like, oh my gosh, you're going to drop 16 points and just, gotcha. You know, you're just Darth Vadering everything you see.
Yep.
But no, I like I said, that was a very key thing I missed the first time I read this. And that KI, like monk key, although, anyways, this is really going to let you live out that Jedi fantasy.
absolutely.
I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, there are so many possibilities. Oh,
Yeah, I want to play this.
Yep.
I think a one shot is in order, where we all play level
I think
5
so.
scions with different focuses.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Anyway, if you want to see that, comment down below. Let us know. Next, we have Telekinetic Hurl. As an action, you may attempt to hurl a huge or smaller creature or object of your choice within your zone of influence. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a strength saving throw versus your psionic save DC, or be thrown up to 10 feet in a straight line in a direction of your choice and fall prone. That's very significant. When you hurl a target
Yeah.
in this manner, you may increase the distance it is hurled by expending power points. The distance is increased by 20 feet for each power point spent. And
Oh,
you ever
Here,
have like a
barbarian.
cliffside battle?
here, barbarian, I present a gift to you. Go ham.
Yeah, right?
Go ham on this thing that's on the ground. Reckless attack isn't even. Yeah, it's the Super Smash Brothers. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you're gonna be moving people around all over the place, and this doesn't inflict damage, if I'm correct. Nope, this is just moving.
No, it does not. But
Okay.
I mean, that's very significant. One, because of things that you might be able to throw them into,
Mhm.
and then also just the fact that they fall prone is like, that's pretty huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
If your sorcerer or whatever has got a wall of fire up, yeah, just throw you back on the other side of the wall of fire you just thought you left. There you go. I mean,
It
spells
burns,
like
burns,
Thunder
burns.
Wave. Yeah, this is fun. And
The
you've
wall of
got
fire.
Psychoportation. This discipline allows you to manipulate the spaces between dimensions and planes of existence. That just sounds awesome. This knowledge opens doorways to movement and control of the battlefield that few can rival. So this is a different discipline here, isn't it? This is not telekinesis.
This is a different discipline.
Okay.
And it's one that, oh man, my party of Horizon Walkers and
Yep.
Echo Knights, it now just found its friend.
I think that's very safe to say. So the first step here is dimensional step. As an action, you can magically teleport yourself to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of you. So you could do that. You can just teleport 5 feet for free. Nothing too crazy, but that could be cool to get past a doorway. So there's a lot of fun little utility points, and you can do that for free.
Space you can see.
Oh, that's a good point.
So, but if there's a window in the door, then you could still,
Yeah. You're
although
within, you
probably
wouldn't
couldn't
even. Yeah, but you wouldn't even know, if you were trying to not leave evidence that you were there.
Yeah.
By spending additional points, you can increase the distance you can travel as specified on the dimensional step table. Again, I would assume that's capped by how many ranks you have in the Psychoportation. Up to 500 feet.
That's exactly what I was looking at.
That's
It's
Dimension Door.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit not as good though, because you can't because Dimension Door you could pop up wherever you want. This you do have to see it.
And you can grab someone with you for Dimension Door.
Yes, that is also true. Well, that's
But-
interesting that I guess we'll see.
Maybe there's some kind of manipulative enhancement thing. I don't know.
Enhance.
Anyways, enhancements. Transposition. As an action, you attempt to transpose yourself and another target within your zone of influence. If the target is willing, this effect happens automatically. If the target is unwilling, it must succeed on a strength save versus your psionic save DC, or be pulled through dimensional space and swapped with you. When you declare the use of this feature, you may spend power points to increase the DC of the save. Each point spent in this manner increases the DC by 1. So you could just switch spots with any teammate at any time as long as it's in your zone.
Wow.
Hey, wizard, you somehow got ambushed. Let's just switch. Or
I somehow got ambushed. Let's switch with the
Paladin,
barbarian.
help me.
Yes.
Save me. Save me. Now, does this say that you have to see them? I didn't see that. I think it's just transpose yourself with another target in your zone.
If they're willing. Target blah, 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 blah. When you declare,
Ooh.
yeah, doesn't say.
So that could be interesting.
That's nice.
So much
Baleful.
trapped on the other side of a portcullis. I'll switch and then I'll just get to the portcullis, then psychoport
Yeah.
out. Like,
Yeah.
that could be fun.
Baleful Anchor. As an action, you attempt to tether your creature to a spot within your zone of influence, turning its own momentum against it. The target must succeed on a strength save versus your psionic DC or have its speed reduced to 0. A target tethered in this way takes 1d6 force damage at the start of each of its turns. When a target takes damage in this way, you can use your reaction to expend points to increase the damage with each power point. Adding an
So
additional...
you can give a presentation with PowerPoint. That was for you, Pruitt. Okay.
Adding an additional d6 of damage. At the end of each of its turns, the target can attempt to make another strength saving throw, ending the effects on itself on a successful save. That's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of hunters in Taken King with their little like tether thing.
Tether, yeah. Lock it down.
I just imagine the purple holding on to him.
I loved that. That made me like hunters. I never liked hunters before that, really.
We have another discipline here called Clairsentience. This discipline allows you to read the energies that suffuse reality and extrapolate information from them. This knowledge allows you to assess situations quickly to discover vital secrets or counteract your enemies even as they strike. This sounds fun.
I love it.
Assess aura. As an action, you may read the aura of a person or creature you could see within your zone of influence. When you read a creature's aura, you automatically learn its emotional state, whether or not it's hostile towards you. When you read an object, you learn if it was in the presence of strong emotions within the last 3 days and what those emotions were, if any. For example, a pebble from a battlefield may carry the psychic stain of violence and fear. In contrast, a golden locket might convey love and remembrance. At your GM's discretion, an object present during a truly momentous event might carry an aura signature for much longer than a 3-day duration.
I love GM's discretion, anything.
Yes, agreed. When you read an aura, you can choose to expend a PowerPoint to ask one of the following questions about the target. GM offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, provide only partial information, or be a statement of the obvious. For each PowerPoint you spend, you can ask one question from this list. What threat does it pose? What can it do? What does it want? What is it hiding? Where is it from? That's kind of cool.
I love divination things.
Yes, exactly. I think it's. Yeah. I could see a lot of fun uses for that.
Mm-hmm.
We have,
and then this is the classic Sword of Omens. Give me sight beyond sight here. I mean, this is Thundercats. As an action, you can use your psionic senses to see in normal and magical darkness out to a range of 10 feet. Magical darkness, that's nice. When you use your senses in this way, you could choose to expend power points to increase the range of your sight, adding 10 feet for each power point spent. At higher ranks, when you spend at least 3 power points to use your senses in this way, you also gain the ability to see invisible creatures and objects and perceive the original form of a shape changer or a creature that is transformed by magic. So this is like, ooh, you want a little true sight? Just sprinkle that on. There you go. Cool. I know things and stuff. Nice. And then, okay, so then we got Forecast Conflict. As an action, you can read the tactics of your enemies to increase your reaction time in combat. For the next minute, whenever you attempt a saving throw, you gain a bonus to the saving throw equal to your intelligence modifier. When you use this ability, you can spend power points to affect abilities as well, or affect allies as well. For each power point spent, you can choose one ally who also gets to add your intelligence modifier to their saving throws for the next minute. This effect ends early if you fall unconscious or use this feature again.
This sounds fun. This new discipline.
Psychometabolism. Ooh. Okay, so this is like you're able to use your mind to like control and enhance things your body does. I'm guessing we got some healing and some maybe some stuff like that here.
You have a pretty quick psychometabolism.
I do.
So this discipline allows you to meditate bodily forces, altering the state of those around you. You are able to lend comfort or leech life itself. This is like kind of, it feels necrotic, but also maybe the opposite too.
It's just that spectrum.
Yeah. Bolster ally. As an action, you can send a psychic rush to an injured ally within your zone of influence, allowing them to immediately spend 1 hit die, nice, and recover the total plus the target's constitution modifier and hit points. Very nice. When you use this feature, you can choose to expend power points to increase the number of hit dice your ally can spend, adding 1 additional hit die for each point you spend. I love uses for hit dice because so often you have your 15-minute adventuring day, you have your long rest. Even if you did use a hit dice or hit die, you're probably gaining it back because most of the time you're not using enough hit dice that when you get half of them back, you're not at max again. Most of the time. Obviously, not every game's the same.
Sure. And this is, I like the way just the mechanics kind of meet the lore here. Like you're not the one healing them. You're just helping their body do it.
Yeah.
Faster.
You're speeding up their natural healing process that they already have access to. I think that's very cool.
So this actually, outside of combat, I mean, you're just spending an action to get hit dice going. This is almost like a short rest machine in a way, too. I would kind of think.
Yeah, that's really nice, because it's like that's just very nice. I really love, if you haven't noticed this about me yet, I love abilities that manipulate pre-existing resources, I guess, or mechanics, and make use of those. So that it's very cool to see. I know there was something in the druid subclass that they had that also used hit dice, and I love that.
All right, then we have Ease Malady as a bonus action.
That's Ease Malady.
Ease Malady. Easy.
Hey, take it easy, my lady.
I didn't say calm down. I'm not going to get in trouble. I just said ease my lady. As a bonus action, you can target an ally affected by an ongoing condition and reduce the DC of your target's next saving throw by 1. When you use this ability, you can choose to spend power points to reduce the DC even further. Interesting. So if you know, like, your fighter or someone is, maybe they're dominated by some other magical force and they're just not great at wisdom saving throws, well, I can make this a little easier, like use your mind to contact them and help them break this the control. Or this could also go for physical or dexterity, whatever.
I like that a lot.
You're lending the power of your mind to help break something.
That's really nice.
That's a fun one.
As far as the points work on this one, it's 0 points, you get 1, and then everything else, for every point you spend, you essentially get 1 more than that. So 1 point is 2, 2 points is 3, 4 points is 5. That,
Yeah, but it's fun that even if you don't have anything to do with your bonus action, you always have something to use your bonus action on if you have to help an ally break free of some kind of effect. That is fun.
I like that a lot.
And the 0 points it's at least a little something at no cost to you. Even if you're on fumes, you got no points left, you can still do something.
And we have another one that I really like. Siphon Life. As an action, you attempt to make a touch attack against a creature. With a successful hit, you deal 1d4 psychic damage and regain hit points equal to half the damage dealt. When you successfully hit, but before you roll damage, you can choose to spend power points to increase this damage by 1d4 per point spent.
Okay. So I mean, it's a D4. It's not like it's not like you're just smacking people with a great axe at pulling D12s out of them.
Yeah.
But
It's not
this
crazy, but
is this is something.
yeah, for sure. Like, especially if you're running on fumes, like you're gonna die, but you're in there and you're fighting, and then you make that hit and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna spend 3 points. You have potential to get 12 hit points back. Like, that's
I think that's really cool.
it's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
We have metacreativity.
This is a new discipline here, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This allows you to rearrange energy to create tangible objects. You are able to create new forms with pure will, whether they be mundane items, weapons, or walls. Stop it.
Oh.
Stop. No. This, Pruitt, I know you're a Star Trek fan. This feels like the replicator here, and you just know how to do it with your mind. It's got to be where this came from. If you watch this video, let me know in the comment section. So the first little thing here is you got construction. As an action, you create a medium or smaller non-magical object or tool out of your pure force of will. You could create tougher objects depending on how many points are spent on the item based on the item durability table. The object lasts until you dismiss or manifest this effect again, or until it is destroyed. When you spend at least 3 power points to create an item, you could choose to create a large or smaller object. And you can make it, depending on how many points you spend, you have different amounts of durability for as far as hit points go. That is interesting. That's a very open-ended ability. Yeah, you could do some really interesting things with this. I feel like, man, would you allow someone to make a key to open up a door that was locked? Or, I mean, wow. Would you let someone make a torch or like a lantern or something?
Ooh.
Or
I would let someone make a torch or a lantern. A key, I would, but I would have to think of some other rule around it. Like,
I would probably just be like, all right, you're just picking a lock at this point, and you're trying to make sure that the teeth of the keys fit the tumblers. So
yes, and you would roll an attack essentially to
like a tool proficiency.
yeah, exactly.
Right. So
Oh, that's
feel
interesting.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you shouldn't. If the creators watch this video, let us know what you would do. Would you let someone make a key with this? Because I'm inclined to say yes, but, or yes but
Yeah.
I'm very, very curious to see what the designers have to say about that.
Because there's a lot of different things you could do. Like, oh, I need to have a crest for some kind of noble sigil so that I'm, heading through enemy territory, and I don't want to be harassed. This is, I love it.
And we have
What is this?
force weapon. As an action, you create a melee weapon made of pure force. I love that, the way that sounds. This
Yes.
weapon is invisible and cannot be removed from your grasp unless you allow it. Attacks made with this weapon use your psionic attack modifier, and a successful hit deals 1d6 force damage. When you hit with this attack, but before damage is rolled, this is a very consistent theme, you could spend power points to increase the total damage by 1d6 per point. You may only have one of these weapons active at a time, and it lasts until you dismiss it or until you manifest this again.
So that feels like you just always have a weapon on you, and you kind of smite with it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Agreed.
I like the invisible part. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. And then we have more of this wonderful art coming down the pipeline. This is the Minotaur from if you end up reading this, which you should, they kind of give like a little story about a Minotaur who buys a dragon horn, and that's the one. That's the guy.
He's the guy. Okay, then we have barrier. As an action, you create a non-magical barrier of solid force at a point you choose within your zone of influence. The barrier is a 10-foot by 10-foot panel that is 1 inch thick. When you use this feature, you could spend power points to increase these dimensions. For each point you spend, you can either create another panel or add 1 inch of thickness to a single panel. If you create multiple panels, each must be contiguous. So I think this means it needs to be touching with at least one other panel. Each panel has an AC of 15 and 30 hit points per inch of thickness. Reducing a panel to 0 hit points destroys it and might cause connected panels to collapse at the GM's discretion. The barrier lasts until destroyed, until you choose to end the effect, or until you use this power again. That is so strong as far as battlefield control.
If you could get, bear with me.
Okay.
If you could get someone tied down by some sort of like sentinel, and so that they can't really leave that space, or like if I had Marcus fighting like a big bad,
yes,
and they just zero movement, if you could do that for a couple turns, you have barrier, and then I step out and then barrier, and then you just focus on, well, wait a second, let me just you could keep doing it, right? It's not a
I mean, the simple version, the one panel would take no points. It's just almost like a cantrip. But then if you want to start to have like two, like you want to do like a 90-degree, or do like a U shape around someone. Nope, you can only move this direction.
Oh man,
there's a lot of battlefield control that you could influence in the right situations on that.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So I did misunderstand this though. It says or until you use this power again. So if you made a second barrier, the original one would disappear. But that's still pretty huge. I mean,
sure, but you have to imagine. I mean, I guess unless you're just gonna encase someone in it completely to lock them out, which would be fun. But
that's where I was getting at.
Yeah, just like just sit here and think about what you did. You know what you did.
Just to use that to like say split the party, for lack of a better word. That's man, I like that a lot.
And then you can't have psionics without talking about telepathy, right?
Of course.
This one lets you push the limitations of the mind. This information grants ultimate control over your own mental faculties and the ability to touch the minds of other creatures. What are we starting off here with? Something called
It'd be nice to have
Link.
the first half of that. Give me ultimate control over all my mental faculties.
I would love that. Yeah. We got something called Mind Link.
As an action, you may telepathically link minds with a willing creature within your zone of influence. When you establish this mind link, you can choose to spend additional power points to connect with a number of additional creatures, equal to the number of points spent. The creature does not have to share a language with you, but must understand at least one language. At higher ranks, when you spend at least 3 power points, you may attempt to force mind link with an unwilling creature. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw versus your psionic save DC to resist the link.
Okay. I think that feels a little bit like, in a way, kind of like the great old one with the telepathic warlock, right?
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
And then we have Psychic Probe. You attempt to probe the mind of a creature you can see within your zone of influence. The creature must succeed on an intelligence saving throw versus your psionic DC, or you immediately learn its surface thoughts. If the creature you choose has an intelligence of 3 or lower, or doesn't speak any languages, the creature is unaffected. When you use this effect, you can use an action to attempt to probe deeper into the target's mind by expending power points. The number of points you spend allows you to affect the target's mind differently, as shown on the Psychic Probe table, which is up here.
Gather, learn, extract, suppress, modify, excise.
And they've got different things here. What do they got?
Gather is you learn the creature's surface thoughts. What is most on its mind at that moment? Learn, you gain insight into the creature's reasoning, if any, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind, such as something it worries over, loves, or hates. Extract, you learn the answer to a specific question you have. If the creature does not know the answer, you learn that. Suppress, you can suppress the creature's memory. for 10 minutes. You can choose whether it forgets the last 10 minutes or ceases to retain new information for the next 10 minutes. Oh my.
That's got some fun stuff with modify memory in there, but also, like, did you just flashy thing me like Men in Black?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next one is modify. So you could change a detail about an existing memory the creature has. To do this, you must know the specific memory you're trying to affect, and the change you make must make sense in the context of the memory.
Yeah.
Inserting the appearance of a particular person, rewriting a few minutes of conversation that occurred, or inserting a memory of an object that wasn't there are all acceptable examples.
So I feel
And
like if say in our Ancient Relics game with if we were to somehow had the chance to use that on Freeman, like, yes, you did find what you are looking for. You must have misplaced it.
I think
You'd probably be pretty
sitcom,
strong against this. But
if if I ever added a character to the party and we had like a new player, they would use modify and be like, "Oh, I've always been in the party. What are you talking about?"
like, what do you mean? I've always been here.
I was with you there. I did the heist with you. We found the box.
This is perfect for somebody who can only make it sometimes.
Oh my god.
I was there the whole time. What are you talking about?
That's like a perfect like Harmon Quest thing where you could actually have like then you show the clips of like, you know, all that stuff was happening, and then like this guy was just kind of standing there like, "What's up?"
Good.
Like kind of
no
like
need to retcon.
kind of like Jack Black's cameo in Community. He was like, "What are you talking about? I was there the whole time.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm your biggest fan."
That was pretty good, actually. And then what we got, the last one is excise.
Yep.
You cause a target to forget a piece of information permanently. If it is a specific memory, the memory cannot be longer than an hour. If it is a specific creature or object, the target forgets all details about the creature or object, but not the impression that something was there. So there's just this blank spot in their mind. And that was what?
Wow.
That was what, 6 PowerPoints? 5.
5, yeah. It seems like 5 is the max for
pretty much, yeah. So once you get to a certain level, I mean, you're not gonna spam things like that, but you could, you could do some stuff.
Yeah, you can.
And often enough that it feels special, but yet like you're still there, consistently able to contribute what you do.
And I love that because I feel like this is almost like the caster for me, because there's always, I don't know, you have a lot of options, you have a lot of stuff at your disposal, and you could always do things, and it never feels like, oh, I wasted my thing.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right, like if you're, let's just say you're playing a sorcerer, right, and you're a storm sorcerer, you should always have some kind of lightning or thunder thing at your disposal.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you're kind of tapped out, like you should just have some kind of connection there that lets you exert a level of control. And then, you want to burn all your, your spell slots and or sorcery points, you can do some stuff. But I feel like this kind of hits that really well.
Yeah, imagine having like Harry or like, I wanted to use Gandalf as an example, but he's just not a great example of a mage or wizard.
He's
so
awful.
We'll say like
for D&D. Yes.
We'll say like Harry or like any of those characters, if just they were, they're like, sorry, I had that big fight with the basilisk. I'm all tapped out. I don't even have like
can't
give me an example of one of their things. I'm not a big enough fan to know any of the.
I don't even have an Expelliarmus at my disposal.
There we go. And I know what you're gonna say, like cantrips, but it's just something. There should be something different. I don't know.
This is a different way to go about it, though, right? Like in a cantrip, you have to say, "I've learned Firebolt. I've learned this and that." This just has, I understand this discipline, and thus have things I can do because of it at varying degrees of level based on my rest.
Yeah.
Those things don't fully go away ever. You're just tired.
Yeah.
So that's just nice. That's good.
And then last one, we have Mind Spike. As an action, you attempt a psychic attack directed into the mind of a creature you can see within your zone of influence. Make an attack with your psionic attack modifier. On a successful hit, the creature takes 1d6 psychic damage. Again, this whole last section is going to sound very familiar. When you hit with this attack, but before damage is rolled, you could spend power points to increase the total damage by 1d6 per power points spent.
Simple. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice. It seems like
To the point.
every one of these has some sort of just consistent damage dealing option,
Yep.
which is very good.
I have to say, and again, I know this might sound like we're just big WebDM fans, and that is because we are, but this just looks like a very viable class to me.
Our first look at this, we skipped over a page, not a page, skipped over a very important sentence, and we're like, oh, that sounds kind of overpowered.
I was
But
wondering,
now, like,
yeah.
really reading through it, it's, I think that it's kind of perfect, honestly.
Feels it to me. I would love to play this character,
Yeah.
build one of these, and try to figure out the best way to go about making this, for an adventure.
I don't see structured mind, emotional conduit, or strategist in here. I think they accidentally left those out, probably because it's all the way like I think they straight up took this from the book and then just dropped it into the thing.
Okay.
So they just didn't include that page in there. So I would like to know more about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's everything I've seen so far is exactly what you'd expect from WebDM, honestly.
Yeah, I think this is a kind of creativity that's going to really enhance your games, and this feels like you could modify any of this for like space fantasy if you wanted to try and adapt a Star Wars game. You wanted to do something like that. This is your Jedi right here. This is your Force user.
So it looks like they had a little section in here. Level 2 essentially was when you unlock subclasses. The subclasses there were structured mind, emotional conduit, or strategist or strategist. Let us know how it's pronounced. Just spell it out in the comments below. It looks like they didn't throw that in there. I don't know if that was like an intentional, like they don't want all their cards out there yet, or if it's just that typically they said it's at the end of the class. So because they just grabbed the pages from this and threw it out there, they forgot to include those since it was in a different section. I would love to see what those subclasses are because I love everything I've seen so far.
Yeah.
And I would love to play one of these. Kind of tough without the subclass. I mean,
You can still do it.
Yeah, you could still do it, and they would
Yeah.
still be fine. Honestly, you just lose some of the nuance, I guess.
But that just gives you more incentive to get the Kickstarter.
Oh, absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. The
I would
only
like
reason
to
I
see
haven't
'em.
done the Kickstarter yet is because I haven't decided how much money I want to spend.
I know. Maybe
Like,
we probably need to split something to get the big one.
I think we're gonna have to. I'm
I
gonna have to get the big one.
think so.
But I really love all this. Honestly, this is exactly what I wanted from a psionic class. And the psionic class, like, it was never something that I heard and I was like, ooh, I want to play that. But like this, reading through this, absolutely very excited for
I agree.
testing this one out. And I think that's gonna be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like this scratches this character draw. This scratches that itch better than the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer does,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that does a pretty good job doing it. But I think this just hits that lane fully. Like if we were gonna run our holiday one shot again, and I was gonna run creepy Orion guy, I would want to do a Scion. I feel like that's a more accurate depiction of who he is, as far as that goes.
So everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. If you want to support this Kickstarter, and we really suggest you do because there's a lot of really great stuff just in the 2 previews that we've seen so far. If you want to support it, links are in the doobly-doo and also pinned in the comments as well. So take a look at it and let us know which one of these disciplines sounds like the most fun. Because
Couldn't even
I'm
tell you right
having a
now.
hard. I know I'm having a hard time deciding. I really love all of them.
I'm gonna be the guy that's like, I got a new discipline. I'm not gonna get a new rank. I'm just gonna get a new
Yeah.
discipline.
Yeah, I could. Yep, I might be right there with you.
Just
Anyway,
because.
I will decide a favorite by the time this video comes out and put it in the comments. And I hope that you do the same. Let me know
Yes.
if I chose the wrong discipline or if you chose the same one as me.
Mm.
So please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow WebDM and follow their Kickstarter. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, Jim. So we're going to get this mind link going when it comes to us and our viewers. We're going to help them gather this information so that they can learn all about this Psion class. They're not going to have to extract too much from this preview document that we're doing. They may try to suppress some of these memories of these puns that we're making. Maybe try to modify their memory. Maybe even try to excise them completely. It's something that, we just try and give them all we have, Jim. That's all we're trying to do. We just want to give the people what they want. Jim?